Hi, it's Savannah Ogwin from Savannah Land 2. I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm doing a start to finish Bible journaling page, and I absolutely love using my Paper Smooches stamps and dies to create custom pages. I'll be using some of my old Dear Lizzie papers, as well as my devotion from the First 5 app from Proverbs 31. I highly recommend that app. It's amazing. What I like to do is I take notes while I'm doing the devotion. I transfer it to one Bible where I have notes and stuff like that. And then if I'm really hit by a certain idea, I create a Bible journaling page, and that's what this Bible is for my Bible journaling. So I wanted to focus in on one of the main points from this passage. I'm in Exodus 27, and the title of the devotion was Peace for Pressing Times. And the two main points were about olives and olive pressing, and how it goes through several pressings to get the oils. And then it was also about Jesus and how he brought the world an opportunity for eternal peace. And to be the light of the world, Jesus had to fulfill the prophecy of his beating, death, and resurrection. And that's kind of like pressing as well. His greatest hardship became our greatest hope. So I was really struck by both of those, but mainly the olive pressing, because I feel like I'm in a season of pressing, and it doesn't feel good. But the devotion talked about how pressing times don't feel good, but they hold incredible potential. And if you think about the olive and how it has to be pressed, the 3 pressings, it brings out 3 different things. And so the first pressing is done by hand. It produces the purest oil, and it's the oil for the temple menorah and for anointing. And then the second pressing produces oil for food, and then the third is for lamps and daily use. And when we were in Israel, we learned that they also use it for makeup. So the third pressing is for lamps and makeup and things like that. So it was very interesting when we went to Israel. We went into a little room, and it had this huge olive pressing contraption. I should try and find a photo and attach it here. I'll see if I can. But just to see that, it was overwhelming to think of what the little olive goes through to bring out these 3 different oils. And each pressing produced something good and necessary with the olive pressing. And that was just really just interesting. And then I read this line in the devotion. It said, the crushing of the olive is not the end. It's how we get what's most sacred and valuable to emerge. And if I think about these pressing times that I'm going through, I just have to think that it's not pleasant right now, the pressing times. It's not the end either. It's going to be used for God's glory, and it's going to be good for me as well. So that's why I was doing this page. I was really inspired by that, and I really just want that to stick with me, and about how the hardest thing that olive endures actually holds the greatest potential for it. So hard times are used for God's good and his glory. So anyway, what you're going to see me do for the rest of the video is just create my page. And so I thought about oil, olive oil in particular, and I buy it in jars. And so I found this little jar from my Dear Lizzie pad of paper collection, whatever you want to call it. And then my little stamp from Paper Smooches is the olive from the Smoocheroos set. I absolutely love that little olive. I've actually cut the image apart so that it didn't so I didn't have to mask it every time I wanted to stamp it. The original stamp is an olive on a toothpick, and I cut the toothpick off, and I can attach it back if I want, and it's a great way to have more uses for your stamps. And it saves me time with masking. Because masking with tape is hard. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it's hard sometimes. So I wanted to stamp the olive several times. And then I wanted to write some of the points that I just gave you on my journaling page. And then I used some stickers to create bold words and things like that. And that's really the end of my page. It was really simple. It doesn't have to be fancy. Journaling for me in my Bible is like a scrapbook page almost. I do a lot of note-taking on there, and then I do some designs, some coloring, but mostly it's notes for me. the highlights of what I'm learning. So that's what you'll see on this page. And I absolutely love how it turned out. I love the colors. I love that pink with the the mustardy yellow and the aqua. I forgot right here to highlight the verse that I was looking at, and it's Exodus 27:20, which says, "Command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning," which has to do with light of the world and the olive pressing, how the first is done by hand and it's the purest oil. So that's where I got my inspiration from, and it was funny that I didn't highlight it until the very end. And so I'm trying to add the color like I wanted to, but my pages aren't perfect. And I'm definitely not, the greatest at doing this, but we're learning as we go. So I hope that you were inspired by one or two things to get into your word and learn from the Bible, as well as using your Paper Smooches stamps and dies to create Bible journaling pages or journaling pages and book art and things like that. Please leave a comment below with a link to one of your creations or a link up to our Inspired by Virtual Smooches post. I'd love to check out your project. Thanks so much for watching.